What's up, everybody? Welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2018. It's time to check in with Skull and Bones here with the creative director. Welcome back to the IGN stage.
Thanks very much.
Now, you guys announced this game at E3 last year. What's been going on?
So last year we showed our PvP, our team-based PvP. This year we're showing what we really feel defines our game, and that's the hunting grounds. Okay. And it's a shared world. It's where players can come together as a group or as individuals. They can meet other players and to terrorize the trade routes. Learn a little bit about the environment, assess where your targets are, pick the right target. Yeah, it's fantastic to be able to show it here at E3.
You call it a hunting ground.
Yeah.
What are you hunting? Other players?
So our players are competitors against one another, right? So you're hunting the riches of the Indian Ocean. If you think about the fishbowl of the Caribbean, compared to how massive and huge the scale is of the Indian Ocean, it's no comparison, right? So we want to make players feel as if they have a huge, huge hunting ground to search from. Trade routes that are filled with the riches they need to progress and fuel their way to the top of the food chain. Other competitors, other pirate gangs, as well as the empires. You know, you have, in our demo, you can see the English, the Portuguese, and even pirate gangs competing for those same treasures.
And how do you go about selecting your targets?
Well, that's the key thing. You're a hunter, right? And you need to use the tools that you have at your disposal. If you're watching the video here, you can see that you go up to the crow's nest, you assess the situation, you identify your weaknesses of your target, the cargo hold that they have, the type of ship that they have. In our game, we use RPG archetypes, traditional ones like tanks, you know, the support classes, DPS, and you have to be able to know exactly how to take down your target, and you use your spyglass to assess your target.
So your ships, there's different types of ships that act as classes. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we have different ship types. In fact, here you can see that the ship that the player's sailing is a Jaeger. It's got a very powerful front cannon that's able to focus its fire to do critical damage using its special ability. And we have other ship types in the demo as well. The Royal Fortune, which is a huge frigate, and its ability is to anchor down and just do an unlimited barrage, kind of like a turret tank, so to speak. And of course the Black Horn, which has a devastating juggernaut ram.
You mentioned RPG archetypes a little bit ago. We can see a ship's level above the mast.
You know, it's a critical part of our loop to be able to assess your target, identify if it's too tough or whether you can take it down easily. Players do the same thing. They level up their ships. They get loot while they're hunting. They are able to get weapons, recruit crew members that modify the behavior of their ship. It's this whole loop of trying to make sure that you have the toughest, most powerful ship possible.
And is there anything to prevent a much higher level player, higher level ship coming after a low level?
I mean, there are bounty hunters, which are NPCs, and they come after you if you disrupt the trade routes too much. But obviously, the most important thing in a competitive game is to create a safe, fair environment, one where skill determines the outcome. And that's exactly what we're committed to do through matchmaking, making sure people have the right opportunities to go against ships that are at the same level. And if they use the wind properly, which is how you navigate, and they use the weapons on their ship, they're going to be successful, not someone being a higher level. That shouldn't determine the outcome of a fight in a player versus player environment.
And we just saw some boarding here.
Yeah.
How does that work? You weaken the ship enough to a certain point and then you can board them?
Right. I mean, historically, pirates wouldn't want to just sink a ship because you're not going to have as much loot when you sink it. So we want to give players a chance to get into position, weaken the ship, expose it, and create vulnerabilities. And then also, if you're in a vulnerable state as a player, you can try to counter that boarding by being able to repair your ship and get the level of your ship's health back up to a level where you can sustain the damage needed to continue the fight.
And you're obviously captaining your ship, controlling the ship, but then you also control your player when you board their ship in combat, right?
Boarding is a crew maneuver. It's like a finishing maneuver.
Okay.
So we want to make players feel the viscerality of combat as often and get them back into the hunt as quick as possible. But you do get to explore your own hideout in the game. So at the beginning of the video, you can kind of see the player on foot, meeting other characters, meeting his crew, visiting the tavern, hearing shanties playing. Yeah. It's your home away from the seas.
So that hideout is also a shared world? There's other
it's your own.
there?
It's your own hideout.
Okay.
You progress it. You level it up. You customize your ships. Level up your ships. Personalize it. Create your own logos for your pirate flag. All those things that you want to do before you head out into the hunting grounds or the disputed waters.
So the gameplay loop sounds like you head out, do some hunting. Hopefully you're successful, you get some loot, bring it back to your hideout.
It's all about the loot. That's what a pirate game is all about, getting treasure, getting the resources you need to fuel that progression. here in this video, you're taking down a much powerful ship, and the idea is that the players come together, they're able to use the synergies between the classes to get the maximized amount of loot you can. And at the end of it, you see they're faced with this moment of truth. Do they want to group together, split the loot, or maybe one player might want to betray the others and take it all for themselves? Then you go back to the hideout, you open up your, the treasures that you've gotten, and then you upgrade your ships and do it all again.
How will players be communicating within the game?
So we want to give players tools. It's a little early to talk about exactly what those mechanisms are, but obviously voice chat is something you can see here in the demo at E3. But we want to give players ways to communicate with one another. Historically, pirates would use, or sailors would use flags to communicate.
Yeah, sure.
So we want to add some level of that immersion as well. But mostly, we want to give players easy ways to communicate with their friends and other players that they meet in the world.
How many different ship types are there right now?
In this demo, you can see 3 with 2 individual archetype classes. But obviously, we want to create season after season new content, new regions to explore, new unlockables, so the players can continue to evolve their fleet of pirate ships. There's just, for us, we're really thinking about all of the different type of ships we want to bring to life, the different type of play styles that players have in RPGs. That's the type of experience we want to bring to Skull and Bones.
And you're providing opportunities for people if they want to play more like a ranged fighter with their cannons, or if they wanted to go straight in and ram the other ship.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever playstyle fits the moment or your particular preference, we want a class that reflects that and a ship type that allows the players to really express themselves in combat that way. Some players, they like to keep that distance. They like to not get into the nitty-gritty. Some players want to be up, brutal, ramming with the Black Horn. It's all about finding the right ship for you and the right ship for the encounter.
So shared world pirate game. There's also a single player component, though. Is that correct?
You're never alone in our world.
Okay.
So we do have stories, and more importantly, we want the player to create his own stories. We're giving him a huge canvas to do so, but you'll meet historical characters, historical pirates. You have crew members with their own unique backstories that you'll meet, interact with, and that they're along for the journey just as well. But our campaign, if you would call it that, is woven into the experience. And every season, we want that to unfold and continue to evolve based on how the players, they progress and how they change the world themselves.
I see. And along with other players, there are also NPC ships.
Absolutely. We have different factions. Historically, this was a moment in time when the navies and the companies, the private trading companies like the EIC or the VOC, they shape nations. And we want the player to be able to encounter those same factions and feel like they're competing against them. You want to be the pirate that no empire can take down. That's your main goal.
I see. So when you're scouting another ship, is there a way to tell what loot is on that ship, like to determine whether you think it's worth going after?
It depends. Some ships that are cargo, like merchant ships, that's where it's critical information. Other players, we're thinking about how we want to expose the rarity of items or how we want to expose the actual cargo. But if you remember the loot from Black Flag, for example, AC4 Black Flag, it's all about using that spyglass. The same as in Skull and Bones. You want to be able to use your spyglass, decide if that's the right target, and if you can take on that cargo into your hold, if you have the capacity, then that's when we allow players to really think about what they need on the high seas.
I see. So we were just looking at a lot of customization options for your ships, different combat styles. Will there also be cosmetic
of course.
customization options? Okay.
Of course. I mean, personalization is a key aspect of a game like this. You want people to be jealous of you. You want them to see your figurehead and say, how do you get that? I want that. And we want to give those as rewards, too. So when players are very successful in our seasons, they're going to get rewards that other players might not get. And to be able to sail out on the high seas with sails or figureheads or even a wheel that somebody else doesn't have, that's a moment of pride. We want people to have that opportunity. You can also customize your own pirate captain, too. So you're not locked into pre-built characters. You personalize that part of your journey as well.
Yeah. You create your character right from the start.
Yeah, you create your character. So, one of the first things you do in the game. And from there, that captain is how you express yourself. It's your avatar.
Yeah. Then what about your pirates? Do you have to recruit the pirates?
You recruit the crew members. There are some guys who are, they're going to be forever loyal to you. Yeah. Silbo Mercy, your quartermaster, Kenny McGill. He's up in the crow's nest. They're the core of your crew as well as your land-based crew in the hideout. But yes, you'll recruit different crew members, which give you different abilities, modifiers, and some of them are pretty quirky. We want to make you really care about the crew members that you recruit along the way.
Is there ever a danger of mutiny?
Mutiny? I mean, within a pirate gang, sure, but on your crew, you're the captain and you rule with an iron fist.
Okay. And you guys also just announced, so that like red circle, when I first saw that, I was like, wow, there's a lot of blood in the water. That's like the target.
It's a mortar
right?
target.
Yeah.
So we want to give players the opportunity to have the ability to brace the impact of a mortar shell or an incoming cannon fire, be able to navigate and use the wind to avoid it. It's just signs and feedback for the player to help him make good decisions.
Sure. What about sea life?
Sea life, well, in the demo you can see different aquatic life, birds, sharks, dolphins, those sort of things. But if you're talking about something a little
like a hunting aspect or
no, I mean we're focused really on piracy. We don't have whaling or anything like that. It's about stealing loot. It's about treasure and that richness that the Indian Ocean offers a player.
Gotcha. So all the ship levels we've seen here have been like 15 to 20. Have you figured out a level cap yet?
Well, this is about the middle, maybe middle of your experience, 16 hours or so.
Okay.
But no, we haven't set a cap on the level for the ships. But we want players to constantly be progressing, constantly be trying to upgrade their ship and compete against the tougher factions and the tougher pirate kings who are out there waiting for you.
Interesting. Are the pirate kings that are like NPCs?
Like bosses.
Bosses, yeah. Okay.
So you'll have these epic fights.
Yeah.
For example, in one of our hunting grounds, fortunes that are playable here at E3, you fight Labouze's gang, Olivier Lavasseur, the Buzzard. And if you take down his gang, you disrupt his trade routes, you mess up his operations, he's going to come looking for you. And when he does, you better have your gang ready to be able to take him on face to face.
I see. And you guys just announced a beta.
Right. We have lots of live phases coming soon. You can register for all of our upcoming live phases at skullandbonesgame.com. Our community is, for me, the most important aspect of the game right now. I'm very active on our Reddits, our Discords, our public forums, and there's lots of community forums. I want people to understand that we're accessible. We listen to them. We want them to be part of this journey. We even have a Keepers of the Code, which is like our core community, which provides us really sometimes very honest feedback about where we're at and what we're doing. And we take it very seriously. I mean, they can always join the hunt and be part of our community, our discussions right now today.
Is there a launch date for that beta?
2000. Our live phase is registered now.
Okay.
It's coming soon.
Okay.
But yeah, we launch in 2019.
Okay. And then in terms of leveling up your ship, what specifically grants you experience, or is it just sinking ships, or? Sinking
ships. There's intel that you can get in your hideout that'll tell you about the state of the world. That'll give you better rewards. There's also opportunities. In the demo that's playable here, while you're sailing around, your quartermaster will find out information about what's happening around him. And you'll be able to get targets which give you specific loot that'll help you upgrade your ships, upgrade your weapons, and give you the treasure you need to be successful.
I see. Okay, so you can stroll around your hideout, you captain your ship, you can board another ship. Can you get off on islands? I guess that's what I'm asking. Are there other places in the world that you can get out and explore?
Exploration is absolutely part of our game, but land-based gameplay, we're focused on making sure that the player has a home of his own where he can feel safe.
Yeah.
But a pirate's home is at sea, truly. And we're focused on that aspect, giving the player the sense of power on the largest, most powerful weapons on Earth, at the helm of his ship with his friends. I mean, that's really the essence of the pirate fantasy.
Even though it's a shared world, it's just one player per ship.
Yes,
right?
You captain your own ship, but you're never alone. There's always other pirates that you can encounter. We want those to be meaningful encounters, whether they're adversarial or whether they're alliances. It depends on what kind of pirate you are.
What happens if your ship is sunk?
It's never happened to me.
Okay, you're
personally, no.
That good.
So it has to be meaningful, right? You have to have a little bit of risk to really appreciate the reward. So we're still working out what that's going to be and what feels fair and appropriate. But yes, there has to be a risk to getting sunk.
Okay. Can the player have more than one ship?
Yes. Building up your fleet allows you to build complementary classes and ship types. When you go into PvP, you want to have a ship that's going to be right for a particular encounter. And if you and I are sailing together, we may want to pick ships that have good synergies.
Yeah, sure.
You do long range, you're able to slow down a ship with maybe chain shot. And me, if I use the ram ship, I'm going to count on you to be able to distract him, slow him down, so I can be in the right position to let my juggernaut, ram finish him off.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Skull and Bones.
I could talk about it all day long.
It's very cool. It seems like you guys have made a lot of progress in the year since last E3.
Thanks very much. I mean, the team has been working on really creating this world, this hunting ground, which for us, we've been so excited to talk about it. Last year it was PvP. This year it's about the shared world and being able to roam around with your friends and finding enemies and friends along the way.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming by the IGN stage.
Thanks.
Skull and Bones launches in 2019. Stay tuned. We have more games to show you from E3 2018 coming up next.